All right, let's just jump right in. Imagine it actually happens. You know, that one investment you made goes to the moon, your side hustle just explodes, or you win the lottery. It's the ultimate fantasy, right? But what you do in those first 24 hours, well, that can be the difference between a dream come true and an absolute nightmare.
No, really, think about it for a second. What's the very first thing you do? Buy that dream car? Quit your job on the spot? We all have that list in our heads. But here's the scary part. The stats on sudden wealth are, frankly, terrifying. Most people who get rich quick end up losing it all, and it often leads to complete disaster.
And this isn't just some made-up story. This is what really happened to a guy named Jack Whitaker, who won over $300 million back in 2002. He did the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. He told everyone, gave money away like it was nothing, and his story is just this brutal cautionary tale that getting rich isn't the finish line. It's the start of a very, very dangerous race.
So, this brings us to the most critical point of all. Your first, and I mean your most powerful move, is to do absolutely nothing. Say nothing. Tell no one. From this moment on, privacy is your #1 asset. It's even more valuable than the money itself.
The goal here is to become what's known as stealth rich. You have all the wealth, but on the outside, nobody knows it. And look, this isn't about being cheap. It's about being smart. It's about protecting yourself from a world that will suddenly start looking at you like a walking, talking ATM.
And here's exactly why that's so important. The second people know you have money, they come out of the woodwork. You instantly become a magnet for every scam artist, every long-lost cousin with a brilliant idea, and every ridiculous lawsuit you can possibly imagine. They say money doesn't change people, it just shows you who they really were all along.
Now, there is one, and only one, exception to this rule of silence. You find a really good attorney, specifically one who handles trusts and estates. This is crucial. They are the ones who can help you set up all the legal stuff like a trust that protects your privacy, helps with taxes, and basically builds a firewall between you and the rest of the world.
Okay, so you've managed to stay quiet. Now what? The next step is to enforce a strict 6-month cool-down period. Seriously, write it on your calendar. This is your time to just breathe, process this massive life change, and, most importantly, avoid making emotional, multi-million-dollar mistakes.
So, for these 6 months, you keep life as normal as you possibly can. Don't quit your job right away. You need something to do, something to keep you grounded. Because being rich and bored, oh man, that is a dangerous combination. That's when you start buying restaurants you know nothing about. Instead, use this time for a total financial reset.
And what's your first move in that reset? You get a guaranteed return on your money. Think about it. Paying off a credit card that's charging you 25% interest is exactly the same as making a 25% risk-free investment. You literally can't get that kind of return anywhere else. So you attack that high-interest debt first. That low-interest mortgage at 3%? That can wait.
All right, let's talk about maybe the hardest part of this whole thing. The people you love. The second they find out, many of them, not all, but many, will suddenly feel entitled to a piece of your new fortune, and it can get ugly fast.
This quote right here is one of the truest things ever said about money. Lending money just creates this weird power dynamic and a whole lot of resentment. People will ask for loans they have no intention of paying back, or they'll pitch you on their genius business ideas. Saying no is going to feel awful, but trust me, it's so much better than the alternative. So, what do you do if you really, genuinely want to help someone you care about? You use this rule. You give them the money as a one-time gift. Not a loan, a gift. But you make it crystal clear this is a one-time thing. You can never ask again. This stops you from becoming their personal emergency fund for life. It might feel cruel in the moment, but it's actually the kindest thing you can do for the relationship in the long run.
Okay, this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important idea in this entire explainer. To actually stay rich, you have to fundamentally change the way you think about money. It's a total mindset shift.
See, most of us have a consumer mindset. We see a big pile of money and we think, what can I buy with this? That's like taking a beautiful tree that grows money and chopping it down for firewood. The investor mindset sees that same pile of money as a money tree. You never touch the tree itself. That's the principle. You only live off the fruit it produces, the interest and the returns. This is the golden rule. Never, ever spend the principal.
So how big does that money tree need to be so you can live off the fruit forever? This is what we call your freedom figure. For this example, let's say that number, the principal you are never ever going to touch, is $5 million. Now, why 5 million? Well, a pretty common and safe guideline for withdrawals is about 4% per year. And 4% of $5 million is $200,000. That's a very healthy income you can live on year after year after year without ever dipping into that original 5 million. That is what financial freedom looks like. That's the fruit from the tree.
Okay, so you've got your $5 million money tree. How do you actually plant it so it starts growing that fruit for you? The goal here isn't about risky, aggressive growth. It's about wealth preservation. You need a smart, diversified portfolio that's built to generate income. Now, of course, this isn't financial advice, but here's a basic example of what a wealth preservation portfolio could look like. We take our $5 million freedom figure and we're going to put 90% of it, so $4.5 million, to work. We put 20%, $1 million each, into a stock index fund, a bond index fund, real estate, and a simple high-interest savings account. Then that last 10%, $500,000, we can put into something with a bit more risk but higher potential reward, like crypto.
And here's where you can see how that money tree starts producing its fruit. Using some estimated annual returns, based on historical averages, you can see how each piece contributes. The stocks might kick off 90,000, the bonds 40,000, and so on. Altogether, this kind of portfolio could potentially generate over $300,000 a year in passive income. Now, of course, these are just estimates, but it shows you how you can create a real income stream without ever touching the principal.
But wait a second. You'll probably notice we've only allocated $4.5 million of the $5 million principal. What about that last $500,000? Well, that's for you. That's your fun money. Go buy the car, take the trip, do something you've always wanted to do. You have to enjoy some of this without feeling guilty. And setting it aside like this, make sure you don't accidentally start chopping down the money tree.
When it's all said and done, you start to realize something really profound. Wealth isn't about the Lamborghini or the mansion. Those are just things. Real wealth is freedom. It's the ability to buy back your own time so you can wake up every morning and never have to do anything you don't want to do.
So I guess that's the final thought I want to leave you with. Forget about all the stuff you could buy. If you had complete and total control over every single minute of your day, what would you actually do with it? Who would you spend it with? Answering that question, that is how you figure out what wealth truly means to you.